Don't do it, Andrew. Don't do it, Andrew. You know that's bait. You know that's bait. That is totally bait. If anybody looking at that and does not know that is absolute rage bait, you're crazy. I'm going to bite. I'm sorry. I'm going to bite. I have found one thing that I really do enjoy about being an anime fan these days and doing a content creator is I love looking for rage bait like this and just tearing it apart. It's some new thing that I enjoy because honestly, I hate seeing people so disenfranchised by the anime fandom. They look at something like this and they go, my gosh, I hate being an anime fan. I just replied to another content creator today about this. And I'm like, dude, don't bite it. don't bite down on that bait. You know this is bull crap. Let's look at it. What is this article? This thing is actually blowing up currently right now on X. It is actually trending, and that just is sad because the funny thing that you'll find is if you look at the actual trending, you won't find anybody saying, I agree with people being upset about this. Everybody's literally saying, my gosh, people are dumb for being upset about this. It's more people complaining about what is said in it rather than actually seeing people that are actually saying it, and that's how you know it's bullcrap. This article from Daily Dose of Anime says, they ruined his aura by showing him crying. Soul Leveling newest episode received its most disliked episode till now. It turns out the episode has accumulated over 2,000 dislikes on Crunchyroll. We'll look at that in a minute. And one of the main reasons this is claiming, this article, this post by Daily Dose of Anime, is claiming one of the main reasons, this is going to be something that's going to be common across the board, right? They're saying this, even though I can't find it anywhere. The main reason in particular is a scene where Jinwoo, the protagonist, shows vulnerability by crying in front of his mother after healing her. Some viewers feel this moment disrupts the strong, untouchable aura he has maintained since the start of the series. Again, I have not been able to find a single person literally saying that. I've not seen a single person saying that. Let's debunk this. Again, I love tearing apart rage bait. I think the idea of non-traversy for clickbait is a big thing right now, and it's really sad how much it kind of ruins the fandom, makes people really get toxic. So let's actually look into it. Let's start off with the dislike thing. This is easily confirmable. Yes, you go to the recent episode 21, look at the dislikes, 2.5k, confirmed. Yes, a lot of people dislike this episode. Is this common? Is this something new? Yeah, sort of. If you look at the previous episodes, they're all about the 700 to 800 range. You can find some that are down at 500, but yes, a lot of people pretty much dislike every single episode of Solo Leveling. I would argue that probably a majority of the reason for that is that, yes, a lot of people don't like how popular Solo Leveling is. So literally, the moment the episode pops, there's dislikes. A bunch of people dislike it because it's Solo Leveling. It's too popular, I don't like it, dislike. And so you'll pretty much have, again, like I said, every single episode is going to have at least 500. People are going to come here, dislike it because it's Solo Leveling, and they'll go on their way. So I would argue, let's be generous. Let's be generous that every single episode of Solo Leveling is going to have 500 dislikes. That means that with this new episode, we're getting, generously, at least 2,000 new people that are upset. Every single one of these episodes get upwards of 200 to 210,000 likes. This one's no different. It's almost already up to 200,000, and it's not even been out for a week. This will probably get another 210,000 likes. So let's think of that way of about how much of increase this actually is. We're talking about, with this new episode, the dislike has increased by 0.7%. It's not a big deal, people. That's not even a percent of the total people that have rated it have come to dislike it. And you're talking about the fact that this is Solo Leveling. I would argue, without a doubt, at least 1 million people are watching this episode. And only 2,000 people are suddenly upset about the episode. That's not a big deal, people. So the whole dislike thing, yes, proven. It is an increase. But I would argue, based on the stats of the episodes, based on the stats and the overall trend, it's not a big damn deal. All right. So let's actually get into the next part. This statement. They ruined his aura by showing him crying. The main reason is for his crying. Is it really that big of a deal? I don't think so. And the main reason why I say that is because if you try to look for anybody saying this, nobody's saying this. Nobody's saying this. I have checked all over on X. I have checked everywhere on Mal. I have checked everywhere on all comment areas. I cannot find a single person claiming they're upset that he cried. If I look at Mal, let's look at Mal alone. Let's look at the comments in Mal alone. What are people saying? I looked for every single negative comment, and this is nothing to these people. If this is how you feel, it's perfectly fine. The negative comments on Mal say, low-key, kinda boring episode, nothing special happened. Aside from Sung's mother waking up, the episode felt like fluff, kinda weak. Filler, no story progress. Failed to build on the mother to make it emotional. They are literally making these episodes long, but even when they're long, nothing really adds to the story. Not bad, but boring. Probably the only weak episode of the show for me. They didn't give us enough reason to care about the family, so the emotion in the scene didn't hit hard as it should. Mediocre episode at best. Easily the weakest of these seasons so far. Way too long, filler scenes in the hospital and the bar. Ugh, what a waste of time. Boring episode. The drama with the mom was not shown very good. There was zero emotions. That was all the negative ones. Everybody else loved the episode. And that's a pretty good ratio, by the way, compared to what we're talking about here. Nobody is talking about how they don't like that he cried. Nobody. Now, yes, I can argue that there is probably some crazy people out there. Yeah, I'm sorry, people. You will find with anything, you will find some crazy person that will go off the hinges and say something really stupid. But it doesn't change the fact that it's not the main reason in particular is this scene. It's not. Again, just based on just a simple look through all the comment sections, all the posts about this episode that I could find on X and on Mal, nobody is saying anything about him crying. They're saying the episode's boring. So for me, trying to use some logic here, and my sense on my read of what's going on here, it simply comes down to, I would assume, 3 main possibilities. There's 3 reasons that I was able to find, and there are 3 strong possibilities here. 1, the people that didn't like the episode were probably just young people. They haven't really experienced loss or struggles with family. People that don't have a close significant other, probably don't have a good relationship with their parents. These people are probably going to find this episode extremely boring. Why? Because the focus of the episode isn't on, him fighting somebody. It isn't on some epic battle, some crazy animation. The focus is on family. Me personally, yes, I agree with some people up here that I don't think the story did a very good job of actually developing the mother and making the relationship very established. Yes, it was what they opened the series on. Yes, every now and then he says, I need to save mom. That's my whole purpose. That's why I need to get stronger. But yes, I would argue, if I didn't have such a strong relationship with my parents and had to deal with loss and somebody kind of being lost, in their own mind, I wouldn't have found this as impactful. Without my strong relationship with my parents, I would probably not have found this episode to be strong, because most of my emotional breakdown for me personally watching the episode is just my own experiences. I relate in some ways. But I don't think if that was really established beforehand for me personally, I don't think this episode was really well wrote. I think Solo Leveling has not done an incredible job of really establishing their relationships. So I agree with people. But I can see a lot of people not having, like I said with me personally, having that established relationship with my parents. They would probably find the episode boring. Because again, I don't think the show did a good job of it. So I agree with a lot of people earlier with their negative comments on it. The second reason why I can conclude that some people would actually hit that dislike button. Shonen brain. I call it shonen brain. It's people that just want boom booms. And yes, Solo Leveling delivers on some crazy action. And so when you have so many episodes of constant boom boom booms, crazy animations. I mean, before this episode, we had nonstop crazy good action. I mean, we had the whole thing with Tusk. Then we go right into the demon castle, and we have this amazing fight with this demon lord. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, he's ditching Essel, and he's going to the hospital, and he's, saving his mom. And then they're cleaning his house. And then right afterwards, he's going to a meeting. It's not an exciting episode. For Shonen Brain, as I call it, people that just want to just turn on a television, hit the button, and there's crazy action on their TV, they're probably going to hit that dislike button. This didn't entertain me. It was just, oh, that's right, he has a mom and he was supposed to be saving her. I forgot about that. Can we move on? That's going to be a lot of people. That's going to be the shonen brain. Case in point, and I'm sad that I didn't realize this earlier, but episode 21 is not technically the most disliked episode of Solo Leveling. It's episode 8 of the first season, with 3.8k dislikes. Now, What's the commonality between episode 21 and episode 8 of Solo Leveling? Well, let's skim through this episode. Yep. There's just talking. No fighting in the entire episode. And it got 3.8K dislikes. There's no crying in this episode. I mean, yeah, you have him and his daughter, but he never cries. The reason why people didn't like this episode, episode 8, is because there was no fighting. Again, the Shonen Brain thing. They just want boom booms, and there's no boom booms in the episode. Dislike. Now, granted, yes, technically the most disliked episode is episode 7.5, and that's because it was a recap. But again, like an actual episode, this is the most disliked. Again, this just proves it right here. There was no crying. They just didn't have any boom booms. It was boring to them. The third reason why I could see a lot of people hitting the dislike button. People that just don't think the writing's strong enough. They just don't think it facilitates that scene. Like I mentioned earlier, it just isn't good enough. It isn't portraying it well enough that it connected with them. And again, I read those earlier, and I specifically said nothing against them because they're valued arguments. It's going to come down to two things. You're either right, and it just didn't work for you because some people are going to need more things to establish. Or two, you just weren't paying attention. And that can happen. That can happen that you didn't pay attention enough and it didn't work. Either way, you're right or you're wrong, it doesn't really matter. In the end, it didn't work. Something didn't get established beforehand to facilitate for that to be emotional for you, so you hit the dislike button. Those three things, I think, are the reason why people hit dislike. There's probably going to be like this small fraction of a fourth that's going to say, yes, I want my hot boy to never be crying. I don't want him showing emotions. I want him to be pretty and hot and strong. I don't want him to show emotions. And even in that sense, I even think Shonen Brain wouldn't even fit because there's all shonen shows have the main character crying. So that I don't even think number 2 can fit most of the time because I think Shonen Bros have experienced plenty of main characters crying. It just, in the end, it doesn't fit. In the end, I think it's going to come down to probably a majority of those 2,000 just want booms. That's all they want. And this episode for them was boring. And they have every right to feel it's boring. If they're watching the show and they enjoy it for the action, it's perfectly fine that they find the episode boring. Does it mean the episode's bad? No. Do I really think that it deserves to have a dislike just because it doesn't work for you? No. But they have every right to hit the button. But to claim this is because they cried is stupid. And again, like I said before, it's rage bait. Now, I will argue, yes, there are people out there that hate crying. I grew up with a very strict father. He was a strong father. I wouldn't say he's strict. He was strong. He was the type of father that, yes, didn't show emotion. He never pushed that on me. I do feel that there was a sense that I felt strength from him, and I felt like I couldn't be emotional around him, but that was because he was just a strong man. But he never, ever got onto me for showing emotion. He never called me a for crying. When it was warranted, he never called me a He was a strong man that led by example. But I do know that there are some people out there that are not like that. Fathers that would literally tell their child to buck up, suck it up, be a man. And yes, there's a lot of, unfortunately, women out there that find men that show emotion to be weaklings, to be and I think that's probably where a lot of this narrative is coming from. There is probably a few people out there, and this person, this Daily Dose of Anime person, probably found some screenshot or somebody posted somewhere some really dumb take, and they said, oh, the main reason is because he cried. Bullshit. Like I said, bullshit. Look online. You can't find it. I searched for the phrase. I searched for every phrase I could possibly find. I could not find a single person saying, I hate this episode because he cried. They hate it because it was boring. They hated it because he wasn't fighting. They hated it because they were looking for more action. And that's all. But again, that's how rage bait works. You claim some outrageous, crazy thing, and then people just take off with it. It happens every time. But anyways, just want to get on here and once again, debunk a rage bait. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below, comment. Did you hate the episode because he cried? Let me know. Can you be the one person that felt that his aura was destroyed because he cried? Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys like this content, you want to support the channel more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. But until next time, you'll take care. I mean, to be honest, the real reason why everybody hit that dislike button was because he ditched Essel. It's the true reason why everybody dislikes this episode.